Welcome back to the channel, Adventures Through Climate Change. I'm Trevor Snyder, and I'm taking an armchair approach to figuring out what the heck's going on with climate change, and apparently, upsetting people left and right as I make comments. These are comments of my opinion. They are based off of what I've watched. I don't know how much background you're gonna need, because it seems like you either fall into one category or the other. Today's video, let's pull it up right now. Dr. Keith Strong, he actually kind of blew me out of the water with a very intelligent comment on Randal Carlson's video, throwing out facts, which I do appreciate, which I have had a chance to research some of the stuff, and I don't think he's wrong in any way. And I guess it just brings more questions to the table. So I thought I would do a reaction video to one of his videos, one of his recent ones. He's got all sorts of stuff, really cool videos. Dr. Keith Strong. So in front of you guys, let's give him a subscription. I'm going to give him a like anyways. I'm preemptively thinking I'm going to like this. He's got a Twitter channel. Go check him out. I subscribe to him. He's more important to me, although I do want to earn subscriptions too, because I do want to create my own community where we discuss things like this, and we have people that pop up like Dr. Strong that do put in comments. I do appreciate that stuff. So with that being said, let's get into this.
Welcome. NOAA has just released its climate update for October of 2022, and this video is a summary.
Did he say Nova? What was that? Somebody
of that report. Let's have a quick overview of what we're going to talk about today. October of 2022 was the fourth warmest October on record. That's of 143. This despite the fact that La Nina is still present and that the world's largest ocean, the Pacific Ocean, has below average temperatures at the moment. There's a 76% probability of La Nina remaining until February of 2023, which is an increase over the probability that we talked about last month. So it seems La Nina is persisting longer than most people expected. Global sea ice extent was
not to take, listen to what he says. The La Nina, we talked about it in another video, that it's been having a bunch of cycles in a row, really affecting kind of Australia and whatnot. Other videos involved in that, I'm sure he has some too, and obviously he does monthly updates, so this is kind of cool.
Was the fifth lowest on record. Atmospheric CO2 reached a new record of 415.78 parts per million. That's a new record for October. Let's take a look at how these temperatures are distributed.
So maybe
around
it's
the globe.
normally lower into
North
October.
America had its sixth hottest October on record. Europe had its hottest October on record. Asia the sixth hottest. Africa the third hottest. But interestingly, South America had the coldest October for the last 9 years. Australia had its second wettest October on record. This is a percentiles map which shows whether a particular part of the planet had record high or record low temperatures. Record low temperatures are indicated by dark blue, and as you can see, there are no dark blue pixels on this picture, so we had no record low areas. Record high are indicated by deep red, and there are quite a few deep red pixels distributed around the globe. The blue area off the west coast of South America is an indication that La Nina is still in place.
Yes.
Looking at the actual individual temperatures, globally,
comes off that.
The anomaly was 0.89 degrees centigrade above the 20th century average. Land was 1.42 degrees centigrade, whereas oceans was 0.7 degrees centigrade. Remember, land is heating up about twice the rate of the oceans.
Which is probably good.
The northern hemisphere was 1.18. That's the second highest it's been. And the southern hemisphere was 0.6, which is the 10th highest. One of the things that can mess you up about what's going on with global temperatures is the presence of El Nino or La Nina. There's a way of removing its effects from the temperature record by choosing a Southern Oscillation Index, which is very similar to the current one, which in October was 1.7. So I've gone through the whole record of global temperatures when the SOI was between 1.5 and 1.9.
Okay.
And this is the plot that I've got as a result. You can see there's a distinct upward trend over this period of time, and if anything, there's a hint that it is accelerating. Here's my matrix that compares the ranking of each month with previous months of previous years. And you can see October there with the fourth warmest October on record, which means that 2022 is almost certainly now going to be the sixth warmest year on record, supplanting 2021. Up to now, we've been talking about surface temperatures. Let's take a look a little bit higher in the atmosphere and look at the mid-troposphere.
This is what he was mentioning in his comment, is that a lot of things don't take into account what Randal Carlson said, where most of the heating is done in the cities and whatnot. And I think Randal Carlson was thinking that, I mean, with the asphalt and everything, I don't know how it doesn't get a lot hotter in cities and whatnot. But what Dr. Strong was saying was that a lot of this doesn't make sense because it's actually high altitudes and water, which would contradict what Randal Carlson said, which is true. So let's listen to what he has to say on that one.
The global temperature anomaly for the satellite data is 0.32 degrees centigrade. That's up 0.1 degrees centigrade from last month. You can see the purple point, the far right of the curve. This is an average altitude of about 4 kilometers and is averaged over a range of 0 to 13 kilometers. The surface temperature anomaly for this same period is 0.89, so you can see that they are measuring different things. Now let's take a look at sea ice, which is some people's favorite topic. This is the Arctic sea ice, the Northern Hemisphere sea ice, and it was the 8th lowest extent on record. You can see the point over there to the far right. Next, let's take a look at the Arctic sea ice. That was the second lowest extent in October of 2020. This means that the overall Earth is losing about 2.84% of its sea ice per decade. Next, let's take a look at the status of La Nina. Those are the blue blocks shown on this curve, and you can see that there's a decreasing probability that La Nina will dominate after February of next year. ENSO neutral conditions, that's the grey blocks, will take over about that time in March and persist through to the middle of the summer, at which point it seems that an El Nino probability is growing for the end of the year, at which point global temperatures will probably take off quite spectacularly. This is a plot of the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, the bête noire of all of this problem. And in October, it rose to 415.78 parts per million. That's an increase of 1.85 over the same time last year. That is actually down slightly from the rate of increase that we've seen in the last few months. So in summary then, for October of 2022, La Nina is hanging in longer than was expected, but will probably end its reign sometime in the spring of next year. Globally, it was the fourth hottest October on record, which is surprising seeing we still have a La Nina in progress. And atmospheric carbon dioxide reached a new record high for October. So thank you for watching. Until next time, stay safe and goodbye.
I guess this was just kind of an overview. It's a climate update and whatnot, so I guess it does tell us what's going on. He's not comparing a whole lot. I know. I guess I have questions like how far. That's recorded history, right? So, or is that like when you say the second lowest, it's just saying from like the 1880s or whatever when they started collecting data, or are you saying ever in the history of the world? I think you're saying the former part, but there's a lot to that. There's a lot to know on that stuff. Obviously, if you're just going to look at the numbers, you can't fudge numbers. It is what it is, right? If you're just comparing one thing to another, and I do think everything's just obviously getting warmer right now. And that goes till you hit the ice age. It's interglacial right now. So we're interglacial. The ice is going to melt. Everything's reforming, and then it's going to be the real problem time, ice age time, which we've talked about. The interglacial can be 20 to 50,000 years or whatever, and typically ice age is 100 plus thousand years, right? And So I don't know how much all this ties into it. I wish, I guess maybe I'll check out some of Dr. Strong's other videos and see if he gives me a little bit more on solutions. You know, I guess it's numbers, and I appreciate the numbers. And I'm very analytical, so I like looking at stuff back to back. What do we do about it now? And I do find it funny that they put this video on Atlantis with Dr. Strong. He was not a big fan of Carlson. So I like everybody. So, and I do think that I have a degree in science, and one thing we've learned about science is it's the pursuit of knowledge. Rarely do you ever actually figure things out or figure truth out. It's just not how it happens. I mean, you could believe in relativity, like the smartest man in the world, Einstein, you know, at that time with relativity. And even now we come to find out it doesn't always apply. There's actually times where, you know, and it's the same thing with Newton's laws, you know, when we had the discrepancy with Mercury. So I just think there's a lot of things in science. We can look at stuff and we can compare and we can kind of see where we're going, but what is and what are the major issues? Now, in his comment, he said if carbon gets over 1,000 parts per minute, we're in trouble. So, and Dr. Carlson says that you know, we should be fine. So that threshold is something that I am interested in figuring out, and we are going to investigate in other videos as we sit here. And we don't claim to be the smartest. We're just listening to intelligent, intellectual people, and we're trying to decipher what we need to do. And, you know, I mean, how much influence we're really having and what money can do for us, because so far I don't think money does much. It doesn't really, you know, the policies we put in place really haven't done much, in my opinion. With that being said, give Dr. Strong a subscription, and if I've earned it, I would love one too. I appreciate likes and dislikes, and I do appreciate comments, whether they're positive or negative. Bring them to me. Give me more information. That's why I'm here. I hope that's why you're here, and I hope to catch you in the next video.